Welcome to Talk About Scary, the show where we do just that. We're here live on location at Hotel San Carlos in Phoenix, Arizona.
Cheers.
It's a beautiful night.
Gorgeous. It's got to be like 65 degrees. Lovely. We're on the rooftop patio.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
There's a pool that you can't swim in right there. It's completely blocked off.
They're renovating the pool, but it's cool. It's a pool on the third floor, and it's like the original pool, so you can't really...
But I've heard they've been renovating it since like 2019, so I'm assuming it's not actually going to get renovated. It's just being renovated.
You never know. You just never know.
You never know.
After the whole world collapse, who knows what happens.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So,
but we have a lot to talk about, so we don't want to waste too much of your time today. Do you want to start? I know
I got a lot.
Quite a bit of stuff to cover.
Okay, so for those of us and you who are just listening or watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast.
Mostly you, not us.
Yeah, we've already seen it.
We're living it.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It feels nice and safe out here. But we decided to come to the Hotel San Carlos because it's close to home, and it's an historic building, right?
It is.
It's a part of the National Historic Register. It was built in 1928. Is that right?
That is correct.
And it's been a mainstay here. All these buildings weren't here before the Hotel San Carlos.
It's the only remaining establishment in Phoenix from the Roaring 20s. And we ain't talking the 20s now, the 1920s.
Yeah.
I don't know what society's gonna call these 20s or those 20s, but we gotta figure it out, folks.
Yeah, it's gonna be. So here we are, and we decided to come down here because they don't really publicize a lot of the hauntings. It's a pretty nice hotel for what it is. It's an old historic hotel.
For being 100 years old, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And the rooms are fairly expensive. Usually they're pretty booked up, except not for us this time. It's very weird. So we're gonna get right into some of the things that I found while we were here that I found were odd, and we're gonna start with that. And it's all about the architecture, the construction, and kind of where it is.
Go for it.
It's weird. This whole place is kind of juxtapositioned across a modern metropolis, modern buildings everywhere, right? And I'm looking around, and it's the oldest building around, and it's like old Italian Renaissance architecture that they keep retrofitting, and
yeah.
It just looks out of place. It looks
Yes.
very odd, and you can't see behind me, but you'll see with some of the drone shots we took, the entire backsides have been sandblasted and they're being refinished, but you can still see the old paint jobs where it said Hotel San Carlos.
Yep.
It was one of the first places, the actual first high-rise building back then, 7 stories high, in the desert to have air conditioning. And was it in 1918?
Oh, when the Spanish flu.
The Spanish flu killed a bunch of the children in that school.
Yeah.
So people still say they hear the children here running. We didn't hear any children playing up and down the halls. However, but or something. So that's something that has to be said. And then there was a lady who committed suicide right after the place was built in 1928.
Yeah, 2 months after the place was built.
And she came from our room that we're staying in, 720, and she went up to the top floor, where the penthouse is, and rushed in, and no one stopped her, and she jumped to her death.
Yes.
And we have in the special all the notes, suicide notes that she wrote to different people. She was aware she was going to do it. It looked like she had a series of mental breakdowns,
yeah.
And while she was here, and so she wrote to different coroners and people that would need to know these things.
It's believed that her lover decided he did not love her anymore. But if you dig deeper, it seems like there might have been some other things going on, and no one really knows the truth. But her name was Leona Jensen, and we've mispronounced it about 18 different ways, and I guarantee you we're doing it still.
We're still doing it, yeah.
But we started with like Laura.
Yeah.
So
Leona. Yeah, it's okay. Miss Jensen, anyway.
Miss Jensen.
She was a beautiful, I guess, blonde-haired,
22-year-old
girl that decided to kill herself. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of different phenomenon with that, electronic phenomena. A lot of words telling us to go certain places, and whenever we were using it, if the activity started to spike, and the detector started detecting there was a spirit, which was signified by a loud beep.
Yeah.
Then at that time, a word would come out at the same time. Sometimes they were kind of irrelevant, and we didn't understand what they meant at the time. But there was a lot of different words, a lot of different names coming out of it that we didn't ask for certain names. They just kind of came, which you'll see in the special. There's a lot of them. I remember Ian was one. There's a lot of them. Harriet, Parker, a lot of crazy stuff. And when we saw these, I personally, I was kind of mystified by it. And then the thermometer's right next to it. Clay and I are sitting around the thermometer, and it would either spike in temperature or get really cold. And like seriously, the spike could be the difference of 5 degrees either way. So it was very interesting, especially when it's so nice out right now. Like, yeah, there's no need for that.
It's been like 72 to 65 all day, and the spikes have sometimes gone up to over 80 degrees, and I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah,
and down to 70.
The cat balls did go off twice with no one touching them, and we got them on camera. Never thought I'd catch it on camera. It's just not something things only happen when we turn the cameras off. So it was neat to see. Now, I don't know if they're faulty. I don't know if something else is going wrong with the wiring. All I know is that one was going off that I didn't touch, that I wasn't really close to, and it went off. Clay had to point it out to me. And one went off when we were doing something else. I forgot what it was now, but we were doing something else and it went off. There's a lot of stuff.
I think it was in the fitness center.
Yeah. So I'm glad we're fitting this in here. Ooh. Yeah, I'm glad. So there was a lot of stuff to focus on, so that did go off in there. Other than that, they didn't go off any other times. We really try to be very careful with those things.
Yeah.
The EMF detector did go off a few times, only in one certain area, which was really creepy. We did experience some phenomena that made me feel kind of crazy. And in case in point, when we were doing the spirit box session, and whatever told us to go to the conference room.
Yes.
It was interesting because there is a conference room and it said conference.
Yeah.
So we went to the conference room, and that's the only time the EMF detector actually started spiking by the conference room. It started going off.
Yeah.
I can put it next to a light. I can put it next to a wall switch. It's just not going off. And then right by a door that has nothing, it goes off. And it goes off with no rhyme or reason. I can put it next door, it doesn't go off. I'll kind of like walk back, it starts going off again. And the temperature was spiking. It was going all different temperatures. And what was going on in those rooms?
So we started hearing weird noises. They were fairly faint at first. It sounded like someone moving like a chair briefly. And as we got closer to the conference room, because we were actually sitting down the hall away from the conference room,
we
started hearing it.
Area that we thought would be like a good place.
Yeah.
Had 2 doors.
And then we got to the conference room, and you could really hear what sounded like someone moving like big furniture. I'm not talking like a little chair. I'm talking like a big couch, like Pivot from Friends was being moved. And I swear we could hear whistling. You said you heard like humming.
Humming or like...
I heard, like whistling. But we got up close to the door, and I didn't really like hear people. It was just the furniture moving. We knocked on the doors, and there's no one there. We've walked past those doors since. Adam went upstairs, and he said that when he was, I wanted to see if it was someone above, and we were just hearing residual from that. So he went above and walked up there and said that he could hear below. And the funny thing is, when he was up there, I actually didn't hear anything. All I could hear was the elevator when you went up, and then when you came back down. That was it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is besides that time, and we did our due diligence and looked around, there was nothing making that noise. There's no one here. We haven't seen anybody, but it was very clearly like the way the hallways go is they wrap around. The elevator's over here, you come down a hall, go this way, and then you can go back down this way. So these conference rooms are like surrounded.
Yeah.
And we were on all 3 of the walls surrounding the conference room, because at first we couldn't tell where the noise was coming from.
Yeah.
It's like you'd be, because there's like 4 or 5 doors leading to the conference room, and we would be in front of one, and it would sound like it was coming from over here.
Yeah.
So we would go over there, and then we could hear it back over here.
The stuff that came out of that spirit box was not only right on the money for the entire time we were there, but it just didn't stop. And it was like one thing after another. It wasn't like, oh, I kind of feel like that might have applied to me. It was like directly related to what happened. With the first words that came out of that box when we sat down was jump.
Jump. And we had just asked, like, if we were talking to her, what she was doing, stuff like that, because we heard that she, like, relives the moment and will walk up there late at night. And people have seen her, like, dressed in white, and she goes up there. And so it seemed like we were talking to her. And then she kind of got a little bit distant, and it sounded like she wanted me to leave. She said, one. Like, she only wanted to talk to one of us.
Instantly one.
Yeah. And so I had left. I was like, Adam can finish conducting this, and I'll just be on my way. And so he finished 5, maybe 10 minutes, and he came back in and said that his full battery, we had just changed both of our batteries before we went to do that. We had just got back from dinner.
By the way, this is not something that we're new to. We know that sometimes in these environments, our electronic equipment malfunctions. It's not something that we're new to. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the old buildings. Maybe it's there's something with the wiring. I know it sounds stupid because that never happens anywhere else that has bad wiring. But like,
right,
we charge our batteries. We charge both of our batteries. I just put that in. It was full.
But we changed our batteries at
20
the
minutes.
same time.
And
and mine was still full when he got back to the room.
I didn't use my cameras.
No, you didn't. But you did 5 or 10 more minutes though during that session, and then it died.
Yeah.
And then the file corrupted. So we don't even know yet if we're gonna get that footage. We haven't been able to decide if we're gonna.
Thank God, Clay got most of it before he walked out. So you got most of the.
Yeah, I got the jump. I got the cool part.
Got the jump and some other cool stuff.
But there was more. He also said he heard the door rattle upstairs that the stairs lead to.
Oh, it told me to go up. So you'll see it.
It wanted him to go up there.
It's up top.
I'm getting like goosebumps just talking because
I said, "What do you want from me?" And it said up top. And I looked up top and I said, "I can't go up there. We're not supposed to go up there. The management's asked us not to go up there. There's a chain there." And the door started to rattle. And I swear, I hope we can uncorrupt that file. We can recover that file because it said tremor. We have the recording of it saying tremor. We just don't have the video recording of it.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm sorry, I can't. Is there anything else you want to say before I go? I'm probably gonna go back. And and then my battery died. Right. I don't know if it died before tremor or after tremor, but I didn't want to leave because it was going off so much. And I said, my battery died. I need to go back to Clay. Is there anything else, you want me to say to you, or I feel really bad? And I was talking for 3 minutes, and it just said listening, right? And then when I got back to the room to explain things to Clay, Clay looked a little bit taken aback when I got there. Some stuff happened.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. That a door just opened. The bathroom door just opened.
Yeah, it's been a great stay. I'm happy we came. And as far as all the places we've been so far, I like this one the most. We're gonna do more though, so won't be in Phoenix probably, but we'll be doing some more.
Yeah, let us know where you'd like to see us go next, for sure.
Yeah. And, okay, well that's it. So, and until next time, guys. Right?
Creep it real.
Yeah, creep it real. Okay. Well,
that was pretty solid.
I think it was pretty good for what we had, and it's time to catch some ghosts. Yeah, we should go. Catch some ghosts.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we could have talked about in this place.